I think one of the things that has to be said about church is because churches lean conservative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that they are conservative, but they, on average, they lean conservative because of their values and principles.
Mm-hmm.
I think that does make you kind of you fight change. And one of the things that I think especially the black church has not been good at is adapting and changing to the times without losing their principles. I'm not one of those people that believe that churches have to, abandon their beliefs. I'm not saying that. When I'm saying, for example, a lot of young people will have this criticism of the church where it's old. Everyone in a position of leadership is old.
Mm-hmm.
Young people are kind of put in a position of like sit down and shut up instead of being participants, in being in positions in the church that are important and guiding certain things. And so they just don't feel relevant. And so they just don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
To that criticism, you say what?
A lot of that is valid. Um, church churches churches are one of the places that have a hard time adapting to change. When I started my church in 2012, because I founded a church, I didn't take over a church. I founded a church. I opened it up.
Okay.
At one point, I was against a lot of technology. Surprisingly so, because me being so
I know
young,
that was shocking.
but let me explain, because I didn't believe in the digital technology. At one point, they say you can give your credit card for offering. Use your credit card for offering. Now that didn't make sense to me because I was in debt. I had credit card debt.
Gotcha.
So why am I going to give something that I don't have? So I was against using a credit card, debit card for offering. But when I started pastoring, and again, that's not my, that's, you could, it's the debit card's coming out of your bank, but a
Yeah.
credit card is, you're accumulating debt. So as I was passing, taking up offering, people would be running to the ATM machine. So I said, you know what? We might as well just use the card, and they could just swipe their card. If it's a debit card, I'm still against credit cards, because you're giving something you don't have. But if you're going to use a debit card, then hey, of course, with COVID, 100% of our offering no, I can't say 100%, 95% of our offering has been through Zelle, Cash App. Okay, so there are some churches that they didn't adapt to that change, and they kind of got left behind. Some churches had to develop that that venue of giving, create accounts so that the people could give. Again, doing Zoom the same way we're doing, Zoom now and audio. We had to adjust. Other than that, it's a phone conference call. I hate phone conference services. So I did Zoom for a while because it was a little more interactive and more visual than it was on a conference call. So adapting, yeah. So we have to adapt to change, and then we have to use people. You have to, especially young people, because they're the future. They're actually the now. You got to use people. Again, certain things. If you incorporate certain things, as long as it doesn't mess with the doctrine of the church, then I don't see no problem with it.
I've been saying for years that churches need Cash App, and part of the time I've been saying that is because it, it's just more convenient. Like
It's very convenient.
most of a bunch of us go to church with no actual physical money, because for most of my day I'm using my debit card or a Cash App, Zelle when I have to pay somebody money. I was Zelle coworkers who needed something from, back when we were still working. I had a coworker who needed something from she wanted some lunch, but she didn't have any money. She got paid the next day. She said, "Hey, could you send me some money?" I said, "Cool." I sold her like $20 for her to do her thing. Like, to me, Cash App and that stuff was such an obvious place to go for churches to go, and the resistance to it didn't make sense to me. I was like, well, and so I thought, okay, maybe they just don't know how to set it up. But then, to your point about using people, you have young people sitting in the pews. If somebody's a teenager, they know how to set up a Cash App account. They know how to set up a PayPal account, right? And so, to me, you kind of, as a church, you need tithes and offering, you need money. And so
Mhm.
you be resistant to this change, it's only hurting you. It ain't hurting
Right.
the congregation, it's hurting you.